It's been a hot minute since I could just sit down with you guys, talk about a movie, and just not really care about how it comes out. So, before Halloween comes out for a video we've been taking a long time getting finished, as we're also scripting out, re-scripting some other stuff, and then reformatting some other stuff, I figured, why don't we talk about Tron Ares? Before the November pitch show that I do. So, where to start with this train wreck? As I have to put down Roya, who is playing in my ear for this whole recording. It is a bad film, and I'm tired of people trying to tell me that I'm missing the point about how it's supposed to go. Because I've heard many people in the review space talk about how Ares is the new Tron. Tron, based on the overall appeal of Tron Uprising, is trying to state that the name of Tron comes from different programs. Programs all take the moniker of Tron if it is deemed so by the plot. Same way that Evan Peters. Why do I keep thinking it's Even Peters? Same way Evan Peters is becoming the new Sark for this sequel reboot that's happening. It's all supposed to be a secular thing about how we don't understand Tron. To those critics, I say, you guys need to stop acting as if your overall perception of media literacy makes you better than others, because interpretation is up to the person, not a God sent up on high to then tell you what exactly the message is. Unless the director wants to sit down with the people to say it, it is not for you to instill the law for people. Now, with that whole thing being stated, from me being half asleep, very stressed out, and highly angry, not at this movie, but just in life in general, let me share with you my thoughts. First and foremost, Jared Leto in a full-blown franchise-leading production, not really a good thing to start selling. Let me tell you guys that up front. First and foremost, guy is not made for this because of all the controversial stuff that follows him as a person, and in doing so harms the brand because of what he is known for. Regardless of his acting abilities, which have dwindled more and more in time, he's not the best person to go to. Second, about Ares being the new Tron. That would work if he didn't also start as the Master Control program first and foremost to then be the transitional piece, because now it's trying to do a rewrite of how it's supposed to go down from what Disney was trying to do originally in its own continuity. For something that started off leagues ahead of its own time in every stretch and bound of imagination for what you could do for digital space. And I'm not just saying this as someone that just randomly picked up the movies. I've been following this franchise for years. I'm in the middle of making an editorial for the franchise as we speak. That's taking a long time. Bigger videos are taking a long time for me, guys, so let me just brush that whole thing to the side. I do know what I'm trying to say, but just hear my thoughts. If the purpose was to make Ares the new Tron, that's great. However, Tron Legacy also gave us the whole concept that Tron is still alive. He did not die in the explosion between Kevin Flynn and Clue. He was in the digital seed that if you can swim in it, you're fine. He just went from Rensselaer back to Tron. So Tron does still exist in the franchise. Not only that, but the original actor who voiced and played Tron was supposed to be in the film but was never asked to reprise the role. So, where does this whole leap in logic come into play? Where is this whole leap and bounds in logic? Next piece of it, Sam Flynn and Cora are still in the canon part of the story. So where is this whole stretch that you're trying to do to glaze the whole Ares situation for those that are fans? If you're fans of it, yeah, go ahead with that, but answer the bigger questions first and foremost. Now we got that whole thing out of the way because that's the most annoying part. Let's talk about how this film actually does not follow the trends about what's supposed to be the ideals of the franchise. From the first film, and even Tron Legacy, Tron Uprising, Tron Evolution, and Tron R-Run, it doesn't want you guys to believe that the digital space needs to merge with reality to answer our problems. It's supposed to be a reflection about our society in both different landscapes. I know I just made that make no sense, but guys, trust me, I've been up for several hours. I have not really slept. I'm barely eating. Get off my dick. But here's the thing. When you're in the first film, it's not about merging the cyberspace with reality like the permanence code wants to suggest. It is just trying to find the code in a society that also mirrors what we have developed in the cyberscape, even in its infancy. It's not as polished as it is today. It's very coarse, it's very rough. It's almost like it's dystopian in how its approach is. Jump to Tron Legacy. It's very vibrant, it's Metropolis, but still feels like it's a reflection about how we want to mold the space in how we've developed technology. In it, all of the whole scape of the grid or space paranoids or whatever fuck you want to call the grid itself, it's still going to be a reflective piece about how we have made these programs go into a different format, if you will. Each user has made this coarse dystopian landscape into what we would want to see as a utopia for our programs, even if we actually mirrored it in a way of trying to conceal our true natures in our own coding to create a viper's nest for people to abuse and use other programs for their own usage. Which tends to also go into different formats thanks to supplementary materials that showcase that whole concept more and more. None of it showcases that they want to have digital things become real. The whole thing about Cora coming to the real world with Flynn's disc to then become a real person, that's a whole unique thing because of her being an ISO, which is explained in the film, and sort of in Uprising, but in other materials, way more fleshed out. So there's that, to then also erase the whole thing of the permanence code needs to be a MacGuffin, because even Flynn's whole dynasty between Kevin and his son Sam, none of them were striving to make Cora a real person. They were all just looking to understand what is the brand new coding mechanic, what is truly out there, what is the mystery for digital life and life itself. What do we keep doing that ends up biting us in the ass later? It's the concept of trying to understand the grander scope of things in a way that feels more organic. Then you jump to Tron Ares. What do we want to do? We want a permanence code to make everything that is digital about the overall cyber world that we're isekai'd to for a small bit become more of a focus. Because Ares wants to be a real boy. Because Evan Peters wants his character to be like, fuck you, Grandpa, I'm running the show now. Because one of the actors from X-Files has to die. Because someone really wants to stick it to NCOM. Even though NCOM is not really the main antagonist like it had been for the last two films for a lot of good reasons. So, lots of things that don't make sense around here. And I know people are gonna be like, NCOM isn't really the enemy, it's really just like... Yeah, I know certain people that are running the company made it the big bad problem where Sark in the MCU, or MCP is a whole different thing. MCP is the main villain of the first film, and then Clue being a product of Kevin Flynn is the actual antagonist, but the people running NCOM to kick out the Flynn dynasty and then turn it into this multinational conglomerate that just siphons off money instead of caring about the people. That's just the people from within. So why is NCOM really the bad guys? If you guys don't really see the parallels of what I'm talking about, you're kind of the problem. But nevertheless, this is still just the overall scope of what I'm peering from my own perspective. But I'm also, even if I'm just shitting on people, which is something I tend to do a lot when I do these reviews, I have a problem. I'm not getting help for it, but I have a problem. I'm at least able to notice the different nuances and all these different angles in a way that can really showcase to you guys, the viewers, that I'm not trying to dumb it down for you all and make you feel stupid for not knowing the nuances, but just try to share that it's a different perspective. Unlike a lot of different reviewers that want to say that you're completely in the wrong for what you're thinking and you're completely idiotic and moronic, I'm just like, guys, there's a different perspective. You guys can understand it, you guys can not understand it, you guys can see something different that I don't, I can see something different that you don't. But every time you want to be a reviewer, don't just shoot down the people saying you're wrong for this whole thing and here's why. We already have Jester Bell trying to make people feel like they're idiotic without doing a lot of the big things with media literacy. I don't need more Jester Bells. But I digress. If you guys want to see the movie Tron Ares, that's fine. It's not a great movie, it's not a good movie, it's not a satisfactory movie, it's not even an okay film. But at least it's something that if you want to watch it to be a completionist, you can. It's not a great thing to come up because of Tron Ascension just sitting right there on the development table and no one touched it to make this fucking thing. Okay, you get your movie, you get your whole story, you get your soft reboot because of how we have a new Sark, even though we're not going to get a franchise ever again from this terrible move. So great job, Disney. So if I'm going to say anything about a review on my own behalf, I just don't think it's worth it. But if you want to watch it, I'm not going to stop you. It's not worth your time, it's not worth your money, but if you want to watch it, go ahead. I would recommend seeing the movie Him. I would recommend seeing the movie... God, what am I thinking? Weapons. I would recommend buying the DVD for Sinners. I would recommend a shit ton of movies that are a whole lot better. But it is still up to you guys, the consumers, to want to see better movies, to move forward with other things, or just see it to be like, hey, this guy on the internet, he was entirely wrong. I didn't agree with that opinion, but I respect that he wanted to share his own. That is the ultimate crux. Where I'm just waiting for all of the hate comments from people that did not watch the full video just being like, oh, he just wanted to insult us for about 13 minutes saying that I had trash taste. If you're going to be doing that, then you do have trash taste. But if you're going to take this time and finally hear me out, hey, thank you guys so much for watching.
I'm on a different type of time, oh. Don't be scared, it's a black thing. Yo, I walk around with a different type of pride, oh.